I fucked it up. Windows is allowed to make little noises if it wants. Sometimes it just needs some attention, you know? It's like... Hello gamers, welcome to the video game. Hello, sorry for the delay today. I was going about my day and I suddenly felt strangely ill. I don't know why. I feel better now, but I'm gonna take it easy just in case something is amiss. I certainly hope nothing is amiss. I don't like it when things are amiss. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they aren't. But thank you all for coming regardless. It's good to see you all. Very good to see you indeed. Who's this guy? I still got my Prism Cup outfit on. Still got the suit. I'll keep it. Let's go back to that EN gate. All I want to do today is relax and kind of catch up with you all. It's fine, everyone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. I was just sitting in my chair after I had my lunch and I was like, oof. Now listen, it's fine, because as an old man, unexplained aches and pains are a very normal part of life. So I wasn't immediately worried, but I realized that the protocol is usually, oh, maybe I need a little bit of a rest. Maybe I do. Maybe I donut. My sound low? My sound? How do you know I'm not just choosing to talk softly today? Or maybe the music for Minecraft is a bit loud. I think that might be it. Thanks for the supers, everyone. Chen Chen and Anne, thank you very much. Bing, 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 bong. So what on earth is going on today then? Well, not an awful lot. All I want to do is relax for a minute and get to chat somewhat. Hope you feel better. I do feel a bit better now, yeah. I feel much better. Well, not much better. I'm still a bit sort of, I don't know, wiped out. I think maybe I didn't get enough sleep last night. I can't really tell. Can't really tell. Come on, I'm gonna move my mic. Don't fuck up on me. It did not. Hee 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 hee. Ah, that's good. So what do I have to talk about? Well, I had a lovely meeting with Manager San this morning. Very productive. That was nice. Went out for breakfast. Had it's a little routine I've started. I like going for a little amble in the morning to try and find somewhere to have some breakfast. It's sort of the closest thing I can have to a morning commute, you know. And it's nice. It's very nice to get to sort of live with the illusion that I need to interact with fresh air. Oh dear. I suppose we're both suffering, aren't we? How's the weather been? Strangely warm. It's annoying. It's October. It's supposed to be starting to get chilly this time of year. UK has a reputation for being very rainy and cold. Succubus, that's alright. Thank you for coming regardless. UK's got a reputation for being cold, but it's always weirdly warm. Yes, I touched some grass this morning. Went out for brekkie. And that was nice. Had my meeting. Did a little bit of work on other things. And it's been good. And other than that, what the fuck is this? Someone build a gate? This is my property, what the fuck? Who built this? I don't know. I'm not an expert on such things. But I feel these colors, I feel like it has Myth Crowbringer written all over it. I might be wrong. Is that it? It's just a gate? There's nothing inside or out? I can get a better view if I fly down from up there. I'm out of fireworks. It's the gate of heaven. Oh, 2001, like the obelisk. Very interesting. Yep, nothing on top. Gives you a great angle to see the Pepe from. That's quite fun. For me, I think Minecraft is like the default product if I need to relax and chat with you all. Because any other game, I'm going to get distracted. Any other game, I'm going to get sucked into it. Getting sucked into a game is nice, but, you know, in a server like this where everyone's got netherite, there's not really an awful lot to get distracted by. Something else I'd like to talk about because I'm just itching to. Ugh. Who's that? Who the fuck is that? Not walking around inside my house, I hope. Who gave you the fucking balls to walk around inside my house, huh? Who gave you the fucking balls? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Not down here, right? Oh, they're in the walls as usual. Oh, well, never mind then. Something I've been itching to talk about, because I mentioned it on the last stream. While I was relaxing, I watched BoJack Horseman, and just yesterday I finished the final season. And yeah, I never knew. I always knew people said it was good, but I never knew it was so good that people said it was like one of the best shows ever made. And I finally finished it, and I think I agree, honestly. It's kind of amazing to have an experience that is so it's fantastic because it's an experience that seems to be so universally loved by everyone who's watched it, and yet its subject matter is so prickly and so difficult to portray right. It's kind of a miracle, isn't it? That a protagonist who does so much wrong and who is so unlikable in so many respects, being the center of a story, manages to connect so thoroughly with so many people. And it connected with me, too. I think more often than not, with stories that sort of present, you know, it's not exactly an underrepresented category in film, you know, the deeply flawed man. Very much I would say, an overrepresented category. In fact, many films, many older films and TV shows will present a flawed man as though he is not flawed, because these are flaws that we have been more culturally aware of in recent years. And sometimes I think that the presentation of these types of characters can sometimes, unfortunately, fall into the category of, let's say, I don't know, like it's a little bit self-congratulatory, you know? Or perhaps that it's a little cowardly. A lot of the time it will be, oh yes, they did all this stuff, but. And BoJack does this too. It definitely does this as well. There are a lot of buts to his character. And I'll try not to spoil it, because if any of you lot have not seen it, I would highly recommend that you do. I think you'll really enjoy it if you give it a chance. I've yet to meet a single person who hasn't enjoyed it. Oh yeah, Fleabag as well. Oh god, I love Fleabag too. I've definitely talked about Fleabag before. Fleabag's fantastic. But essentially, it just really has a brave message to put forward. And I say brave because the subject matter in the show is so delicate in our day and age, more really than it has been before. And I think that deserves to be celebrated, not just for the fact that it tried to, but the fact that it did so very well. How do you take a character like BoJack, who does so much that would mean that if you heard about him or knew him in real life, that you would want to cut him out of your life immediately, and yet to still somehow want to see him grow and to want to see him succeed and to be better? It's a really delicate balancing act, and I really don't feel like they ever drop the ball in every episode that has a serious moral problem being posed. In every episode that he does something bad, it feels like they give us the right way to feel about it. I mean, you shouldn't need to be given that, but it never feels like he gets off too easy. And it never feels, or at least if he does, it's a commentary on the way in which men in Hollywood have power that other people perhaps do not. And I think that's very important. The final few episodes are really, really fantastic. Some of the best television that I've seen, certainly. And yeah, it's a difficult watch, definitely. If you're a person who's experienced mental health, generational trauma especially, there are a lot of things to be upset by in the show. But if you give it a go, I think one of the things that I enjoyed about it is the fact that it is so funny that its dark themes feel a lot more palatable. You know, you can sort of jump in and enjoy something very, very serious because it's dressed in humor that the humor never takes away from the severity of its subject. It always feels like it's there to aid it, but it also does make it easier to digest without dumbing it down for you. And I remember I wanted to think a load of thoughts about it after I saw the finale of the show, but I kind of couldn't. It was just, I don't know, my brain felt like it was full of bees, and I just sort of stared into space afterwards. It was really fantastic, and I don't know. All I would say is that I'd highly recommend it. It's rare to see something deal with themes like true guilt without, going into sort of some convenient loophole. It's like, oh no, it wasn't really your fault. What if something is your fault? What if you did fuck up? And what if you had the opportunity not to, but you still chose to fuck up? It happens to everybody. I would hope not to the severity that it happens to him, as is his own fault, but it's a perspective that we all too soon forget because we are scared of talking about these kinds of things. Very scared. And it's okay to be scared because it's easy to feel like we'd rather hide those things. Anyway, it's not all doom and gloom. It is very funny, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I would highly recommend it. It is funny. It is funny how oh man, I'm already out of fucking, oh my god, okay. Back we go. It is funny how Aaron Paul plays a college dropout who wears a beanie in two of the greatest television shows of all time. Two of them. Todd is great because he's your unemployed friend at 4 p.m. And when all of this serious shit is happening, he has his own drama and he develops as his own character, but it always feels more wacky and much lighter than whatever's going on. And any episode with Todd or any sort of B-plot with Todd is always a very welcome change. Avis, thank you very, very much. No, I very much appreciate it. I saw it, and I was very happy with it. Shadow, thank you. I wanted to see you up and at it. Yeah, I feel up and at it. Thank you. Love cake, thank you very much. Agambakama to everyone who needs it today. Peying, Leonaki, Kairos. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think if I was to summarize it, it's like it's a very uncomfortable experience in some ways because you will inevitably be confronted because so many of the cast, it's not just the sad horse who is the most well developed. Every character is incredibly three-dimensional with their own wants, needs, desires, problems, baggage, whatever. And when you watch it, you are inevitably going to relate to some of them. And you will be forced possibly to confront things about yourself. You may wonder, should I have done this thing in my life differently? And it's fascinating. I always felt that while I was watching it, I related probably most to the character of Sarah Lynn, which is sort of quite reveals quite a lot, I think, to me about myself. And that was a good experience for me. It was healthy. I don't want to see any spoilers in chat for anyone who hasn't seen it, okay? Can't cook the pork in a blast furnace. What if I want it to be burnt? Bastard. That's too much, man. What a devastating title for an episode. Anyway, I'm scared of talking about it too much because I don't want to get into spoiler territory because I know there will inevitably be a lot of people in chat who haven't seen it, but all I will say is that I would highly recommend it, and the show was a fantastic companion to me while I was recovering from some stress-related health issues, which are now clearing up and I feel much better. It's nice to get a step out of my office for a while and to get to really engage with a bit of art. It was fantastic. Ooh, and you know what else happened? Akumama came to visit, and we watched. It's funny. My mum, she doesn't really like violent movies. She very much, when she watches a film, she just wants to watch something that is light and fluffy and nice, and that is it. And I respect that. I enjoy the fact that she knows what she likes in film. And we were, we decided to watch a film, and we were going through Netflix, and I remember she said, let's watch a drama. Let's watch a drama. And I said, okay. And we went to the drama section on Netflix, and we were looking through, and all the good dramas were like quite serious, you know, a lot of films that I enjoy. And my mum was like, oh, are you sure there's not something, you know, something a bit lighter, something, you know, sort of fluffy? And I'm like, are you sure you don't want to watch a comedy? Are you sure you want to watch a drama? And she's like, well, you know. And I felt bad because in the end we wound up watching No Country for Old Men, which is a very dark and violent film. A fantastic film, a Best Picture winner, and deservedly so. And I was very happy to have watched it again because I saw it for the first time a very, very long time ago. But yes, if you have not seen No Country for Old Men, it is maybe just one of the most gut-wrenchingly tense thrillers, and also a very depressing and stark portrait of America. I think it's beautiful. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, I wasn't really too into film when I first saw it. Like, you know, I kind of hadn't really gotten too familiar with a lot of the greats. And when I watched it, I didn't really fully engage with it. And then watching it again, you know, with sort of a renewed interest, was a fascinating experience. And I really, really enjoyed how it tells its characters in very simple ways. The plot is very, very bare bones for good reason. And it sets up these characters with these very long, drawn-out scenes where it gives you time to digest their actions, their, really, more than anything, just their decision-making. What do these characters do when faced with a dangerous situation? And then you learn who you are rooting for and who you're up against in a very simple way. I love particularly, everyone talks about Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh, and rightfully so, he's horrifying. But also, Josh Brolin as Llewellyn. So few people talk about one of his first major scenes, him hunting and coming across a drug trade gone bad, many people dead, completely unbothered. He's like, keeps walking around, finds a case full of $2 million, and instead of thinking, wow, I've seen multiple dead people and a man gasping for breath without water, who will most likely die very quickly. I got distracted there for a second. I forgot what I was talking about. Okay. You know, sees all of this horrible shit, runs across a corpse holding this case full of $2 million and thinks, well, that's mine now. I'm going home. And he also finds a gun. He's like, that's also mine now. And then he goes home. And that's our hero. That's the hero of the story, supposedly. I think more than a thriller, really, if you think about it that way. It's a tragedy. It really shows you the kind of... It really shows you the sort of person that America has the capacity to produce, and the ways in which the traditions that were born during the era of the Wild West are still very much alive. And that is also horrifying. So I would highly recommend that as well if you have the stomach for it. Extremely violent and very tense, but fantastic. Watching a lot of good films recently. Now that I've finished BoJack, I need to decide on a new show to watch, because it's a healthy routine for me, getting out of my office. I know it sounds weird, I know it doesn't sound healthy, but it really is being able to step outside of my office and just go to a different room. So I need to find a new show to watch. And right now, I'm thinking of maybe either Succession, The Boys, or Andor. And now my interest in Andor is mostly because, listen, Star Wars Disney Plus is fun because if you enjoy Star Wars, you get to just sit and point at the screen and be like, hee hee. And that's that. And that's kind of how I felt when I watched Obi-Wan, it's not great. Like, I enjoyed it a lot, but it's not fantastic. I mostly just enjoyed seeing characters I recognized doing cool things. And that's fine for what it is, you know. But then to hear that Andor is supposedly one of the best shows in the year in which it came out, and it's Star Wars, it was really weird to me, because I almost feel like IP is too often used as a crutch, you know? IP is too often used as a crutch where something is sold purely on the merit of what it is rather than what it does well. And to see Andor, you know, or at least I haven't seen it, but to hear about it, that it manages to deliver genuinely good TV with all of the trappings of Star Wars still intact is fascinating, and I'd love to check it out. And I don't really know much about the other two. I've seen the first episode of The Boys, and I thought it was terrifying and hilarious. And then I don't know much of anything about Succession, but it looks really cool. So I'd like to check that one out as well. Thank you for the supers. Phoenix Chihang, Gooey Flames. Kairos, thank you very much. Kendra, thank you. Anything spooky this month? I have some ideas. Mona Meguru, thank you. Shadow Aisha, thank you very much. Yes. Oh, Smiling Friends. Of course I've seen Smiling Friends. I love Smiling Friends. Are they doing a season 2? I can't remember. I think I heard they might have been doing that, but I can't quite remember fully. Thank you. I'm glad I get to help people feel relaxed. I feel very relaxed. Anybody here read books? Not me. You know, I have this book that I bought ages ago. It's a Raylo fan fiction, but with different character names, and it's a New York Times bestseller, which just goes to show that that Raylos have fantastic taste and are very talented people. But I've had this book for a long time, and every single time I've been on a trip, which this year with a lot of events happening and also a lot of stuff happening to me, I've been traveling quite a lot, and I've brought it with me every single time. And I have yet to start reading it. Every time I bring it with me on a plane or on a train, and I think, today I will start reading it, and I never do. I just don't have the fortitude to start anything. And it's really funny. It's really, really funny. That's one of my flaws, is I keep looking at a thing and I'm like, I must start the thing. And the thing is, sadly, not started. Love Hypothesis, yes, that's the one. Fucking, oh my god. They changed the UI and I can't find the mute notifications button on Slack. Bastard. Ooh, Red Dead 2. I've been very interested in checking that out. And congratulations, Witchtree, on getting your first 1 year officially. Second interview. Very good, very good. I remember your situation. You were moving on from a job you didn't like. I hope this one treats you better. Give me any advice for ASMR. I feel as though you are asking the wrong person. Believe it or not, I do not... Oh, diamond. I do not feel that I ever really made any ASMR. I feel like it was all just me going off the top of my head with a different microphone. You know? What I will say about what I have learned: listen to your audience, I think. Listen to the people who want to listen to what you do, because that is what I did, because I do not understand. I do not understand the appeal of ASMR. I mean, I do understand it, but it's not something that appeals to me personally. So all I can do is listen to what you think. And it seems to have become such an important part of the way that we interact. And that's good. So I guess that makes me a good listener, right? Playing monkey game on flights. Yeah, that's easier. That's the easiest solution. Getting a book out is way harder than getting a laptop out and finding a plug socket and then plugging an HDMI into a monitor on a plane with only about 45 minutes of battery life. And just doing it to do it. Monkey game is an easy idle until you start on fucking chimps mode. That's when it gets fucking insane and sadistic. I tried beating one of the hardest maps on chimps recently. I tried beating Ravine, which is an expert map on chimps. I was following a guide to the fucking letter, because you need to at that level. And it's to the point where it took me maybe 20 tries to get past the first round. And I was like, and then I died on the second round. And you've got to be so precise with where you place the monkeys. And if you're not precise, then you will lose. It's mad. Sky, thank you very much for the super, and I wish you a very happy birthday on the 12th. Looking forward to all your future plans. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Ha, ha, ha. On gloves, you got 3k on the fruit game. Listen, I saw that fucking list, right? I don't know what these sounds mean. I saw that fucking list of the high scores and how I'm the worst at melon game. No more. I'm gonna go back. I'm going to go back to Melon Game some other time. I'm going to go back to Melon Game, and I'm going to beat whoever's in second to last place. I can't remember. Whoever it is, I'm breaking out of last place. I swear to God, I'm going to do it. This is true. Any game I play, I try and find the hardest thing to do. I mean, in World of Warcraft, I've been sort of beelining it for the higher Mythic Plus dungeons. It's just so addictive to get better gear, see number go up. That's what I've always loved about these games. Like RuneScape. It's addictive, you know, number go up. I haven't played RuneScape in a while. They're planning a lot of really big updates, and some big updates have been happening that I sort of missed out on. I feel like I'm falling out of the loop with it. Is this what it really feels like? To adult? Crazy. Right, I'm gonna go another way. Yeah, time to go home. Any tips for people who are traveling alone to another country for the first time? This is interesting because I've had to pack my things and move quite a few times in my life. I've had to sort of go from country to country very many times. We are blessed now to live in the age of information. There is so much available to you that you can use to find out more about where you're going. And so, what I would say is, no matter where you're going, do some research about local custom. Just basic things that you can do to try and fit in a little more. And this will, most of all, make you feel safer. Because when I go to a different country, my biggest worry is, am I accidentally going to offend somebody? Am I going to tread on some kind of unwritten rule that in my own country would be very normal, whereas in the country I am visiting is deeply offensive? This is good to help you feel safe, right? When you're traveling, just the aspect of travel, signs are your best friend, and phones are so advanced now that even if you're going to a country that doesn't have signs in your native language, you can just point your phone at a sign and it will translate it for you. Signs are your friends, and if you're worried about travel, airport staff usually speak quite a few languages, and if the first person you talk to doesn't, they'll probably run off and find someone who does. Moreover, my biggest piece of advice for traveling alone would be don't worry. Okay? Please, don't worry. These other places you're going, they might feel very different to what you're used to, but they are a place that has been lived in by people just like yourself for thousands and thousands of years. Sometimes less. There are some newer countries, but you know what I mean. I mean, even newer countries most likely were lived in by, you know, a different culture before it was replaced by a different one, which is a tragedy all of its own. But there are all sorts of very friendly people everywhere you go, so it's not worth being afraid about it. If you are afraid, it's okay to ask. All right? Master, thank you very much. I'm enjoying being a little more subdued today. I've been feeling strangely low energy recently, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because I'm doing a lot more work behind the scenes. But I feel like I'm needing more sleep. More than I usually do, and I'm a very sleepy person by nature. Maybe I'm not eating enough. I don't know. We'll see. I'll always look after myself. Something I was thinking recently. Maybe I have something of a, I love this phrase, something of a something of a lacking media diet. But I feel as though there are so many. I feel like I've thought about kind of like a fatal flaw in filmmaking as an art form, you know, inherently, is that with an inevitable financial barrier to entry, what you run into is the inevitable truth that any perspective told through a film with any reasonable budget is that it will be the perspective of someone with some degree of privilege. And I think it's interesting because when you approach something like the written word or, you know, or a painting, anyone can, with really any amount of money, well, not any amount, but, you know, it doesn't cost much to get a pen and some paper, and it costs a little bit more, but not nearly as much as making a film, to grab some acrylics and a canvas. So sometimes when I'm watching films and I think they're beautiful, I do have to sit back and appreciate, like, you know, I wonder what it would be like if this came from a different perspective. I wonder what it would be like if anyone was allowed to make a film. Inevitably, when you have crews involved, you have this and that. I mean, how many films have you seen that you can say had a budget of less than $20,000? $20,000 is a lot of money. That's more money than most people will have in their personal bank account at any given time in their lives. And yet, I don't know, can you point to one? Skinamarink had a budget of $15,000, and I've seen a bunch of student films. Oh, Saw, that's a good example. Oh, that's a very good example. What was the budget for Saw? Blair Witch is a really good example. But I think what I'm trying to say is the vast majority of us, and, you know, it's not your fault, will inevitably consume projects with big budgets because those big budgets go into marketing, and marketing is how you find out about them. Perhaps my worries are all sort of... Oh, Jesus, start playing the scary Minecraft music now. I don't want to... Perhaps it comes from, again, what I was saying, a limited perspective. I imagine there are probably thousands of films out there made on micro budgets and come from the perspectives of ordinary working people. We just don't know about them. And that's why media preservation is so important, right? Just because it's high budget doesn't mean it's good. So true. Oh my God. So true. I mean, we don't really need much confirmation on that. If you've had the misfortune of checking out Andy Muschietti's recent offering, you may it's stupidly high budget for The Flash. Oh my goodness. A budget of what, like 400 million with more going into marketing? Also, I feel like I've kind of fucked this up. Like a straight line here and then it goes through the wall a little bit. Maybe I can just kind of cut that off a little bit once this goes up. Okay, well, we'll stop here and just keep doing it. Gladys, thank you. Happy birthday. Love you too. Sudokula, thank you. Kai, thank you very much. Girl from Nowhere, I've heard of that, but I don't know what it's about. I haven't seen it. Nekosaka, thank you very much. And Kendra, from your dad. Old movies. Now I have seen Young Frankenstein. I love Young Frankenstein. That was a hilarious movie. I remember watching that with my dad a long time ago. Livin, thank you very much as well. But yeah. Perhaps, I don't know. Right now, what's interesting is we have... I just felt a fucking disturbance in the force when I thought about this. We have an incredible service available to us, which exists to distribute what are technically films of any length made by anyone who can access the internet. And not only that, these films, as they are technically, have the chance of being promoted simply for being uploaded. And sometimes they can snowball into being viewed by millions of people. It's called YouTube. But the problem with YouTube is that it rewards content which is unlike film, as we know it traditionally. And so, if someone without a huge budget wanted to make a film, I mean, many shorts that are, you know, similar to traditional film do find success on YouTube. But I'm sure there are thousands of them that we've never seen or heard of. Because Mr. Beast is just so much better for the algorithm. I've kind of been souring on Mr. Beast recently a little bit. Something about, I don't know, I'm sure he's a nice guy. Something about, like, the way that he keeps replying to tweets that are critical of him on Twitter. It's like, you don't need to do that at your level, dude. You don't need to do all that. And I think that he does do a lot of things very, very good. And I will never be like one of those fucking Twitter people who watches him cure 1,000 people's blindness and is like, actually, like, that is a good thing. That is a good thing. There's no ifs or buts about that. And you can't act like there's something, you know, we can point to the issues with, oh, an act of kindness in our society is only an act of kindness if done for financial gain. Sure. There is something to be said about that. I don't know. I guess it's just inevitable that with the massive ramp up in success, there is a sort of a new way that content is made. And I'm finding it a little less fun to watch at this point. He's very talented, you know. And if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be someone else who discovered basically the YouTube infinite money glitch with that specific type of content. It's fascinating what he was able to achieve in such a short space of time. When he had that kind of mini beef with Jacksepticeye, it was fascinating to sort of pay attention to that because, I mean, I think they're both right and both wrong. I mean, way to be a fence sitter, right? When Jack is like, you know, oh, YouTube's not about having fun anymore. If he was having fun, the videos would be longer. I don't know. Everyone's idea of fun is very different. And for many, success itself can be very fun. And I don't think that, you know, someone having short, digestible videos means they're not having fun. But that said, there is definitely a phenomenon on YouTube that you can point to where I don't believe it is Mr. Beast's fault. I believe it is a flaw with YouTube as a platform that sort of created him, in a sense. Because all he did, you know, if you listen to interviews, all he did was think really hard, okay, how do we blow up? What is the secret? And they theorized as friends, and they clearly figured it out. And more power to them. I don't know. Everyone's got their flaws. I think overall there's more to like about Mr. Beast than there is to dislike. He's definitely doing more good than he is doing bad. YouTube having an influx of Mr. Beast clones is not his fault. Success inevitably inspires imitation. Don't let these long words fool you into thinking I'm smart. I'm just I don't know. Just throwing words out of my face, and they make sense to me. Oh, right, there I am fishing for compliments again. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. You know, I was thinking something, is that there are like, I think, going back to BoJack, I think one of the greatest things, like I was saying, is that inevitably in its characters being so three-dimensional and so well-developed, you will inevitably find something in someone to, if not relate to, then to learn from. And what I think the one thing that really sort of stuck out to me in kind of a scary way, I won't spoil it, but in season 3, there's a scene where he goes on a bender, and the way in which that episode is structured, the way that these events keep happening, and suddenly it will just violently transition to black, and then they are in a different place, and he's like, where are we going now? I'd really, that stuck with me a lot, because it reminded me so much of how it can feel to have ADHD sometimes. Like, so much of it is forgetting every arrangement you've ever made and kind of forgetting how you got somewhere and wondering what you're even doing there, and it can just make you feel so confused. And I think one of my biggest worries is that one day I'll like wake up and kind of be confronted with, like, you know, contributing to something that I didn't know I did, that I didn't want to do, you know? Like, let's say I had an idea for a project and I was really excited about it. And then one morning during production, I wake up and everyone is talking about it and they're saying, oh, it was great. And I look at it and I think, well, I don't remember finishing it. You know? Something like that. It just makes me feel really scared. And the way that episode portrayed it, of like always being like, where are we now? What's going on? It was kind of scary in a really understandable way. And I liked it a lot for that. Again, it's just all these little things that you never really thought you knew about yourself. But then you kind of see some other character who is so believably human go through those things, and you think, wow, maybe it is a little more sort of real than I was giving it credit for, you know? Look at me building my castle. This project's been going for more than a year, and I tell you something, I don't know if I'll ever finish it. At this point in my life, Minecraft is just Subway Surfers gameplay to play the backdrop for me saying shit. Well, fuck off. And we're out of bricks. Who's been drawing dicks? I have. New. Need to get some fireworks, but where are they? It's like Cocoa Melon. Cocoa Melon with a really with kind of a really pseudo intellectual podcast playing at the same time. Oh god. Yeah, maybe all that self-reflection was good. I don't want to be comparing myself to a podcaster. Jesus Christ. Doing okay, man? Hope you're doing well. I think overall, yeah, feel pretty good. Bell, thank you very much. And
fucking Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
I need to figure out. I need to figure out how to mute these notifications. This is a nightmare. Slack, please. Slack, please. How do I mute these notifications? There was a really convenient button. God, what the fuck? Uninstall the app? That's a brilliant idea. Mentions threads. Oh, I don't know, bruv. I don't know. Home? Nope. That ain't it. That ain't it. Nope. There it is! Oh my, whoever said profile picture in the bottom left, you're a genius. You're a lifesaver. I love you. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Disaster solved. The slack beast has been slain. I hate to say it. Slack was caught slacking. I'm going to open my mouth and go... I guess we got to get some more things now. It's a game. Minecraft is a game about things. Pork chop. You know. Terrible joke. I know. I know. I've never been under the impression that I had any sort of wit beyond very, very base level situational comedy. Thanks, Phoenix. That's sweet. Uma Islington. Oh, glad to have encouraged you as well. Miki, thank you. Hope you're having fun with the game. Game's nice. It's chill. Something I can look at. I keep forgetting I'm wearing netherite. I can walk straight through that shit. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Oh, Leon Mochi, I'm sorry you've been having some problems with chest pains as well. Scary stuff. Just make sure you relax and talk to a doctor. Kirihara Akira, that's scary. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, I've had to go to all sorts of different places to be safe in my life. It never gets any easier, but you will inevitably feel better. Every time something bad happens, you will inevitably recover. You have done every single time before now, and you will do so again. Oh, Yuting here, thank you for the Super. Love you too. Good luck with your exam, no. Oh, Yuting here, is that another one? Oh my god. Is that a bug or is that another one? If that's another one, thank you very much. I love you too. Thank you, Black Crown. And Darius, suggestions for how to talk to your crush the first time. I'm going to be so honest with you. I'm going to be so honest. The most important thing you need to remember about talking to your crush and trying to like ask them out or something. It's terrifying, right? So scary. But here's the catch. If things go south, yeah, it'll be embarrassing and it'll probably make you really, really sad. You got to be prepared for these things. But inevitably, you will, and this is not an if, this is a when, you will meet someone else that you feel that way about in the future. So, instead of worrying about it like it's be-all, end-all, and it'll be the end of the world if they say no, even if they say ew, and I'm sure they wouldn't say that because I'm sure you're very beautiful, but there will be other opportunities, and there will be other chances to get it right. So don't. I've had too many times in my life where I think I've mentioned this before, where I've had a really, really big crush and just never said anything for years. And looking back on that kind of thing and wondering, oh, what might have been. It's a sad thing. I don't want you to go through that. So hold that confidence in your heart. And I think another thing is that when you have a crush on somebody, we have a tendency to put people on a pedestal. And this isn't immediately a bad thing. Like, it's fun to really, really... it's a human thing to really, really love someone from a distance. The important thing to remember is this, though. Someone else could also look at you in the exact same way. They could see just as much to love in you as you do in them. And then you think about yourself and you think, oh, well, I'm this, and I'm stupid, and I'm whatever this is, and I'm so awkward and shy, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But what you don't know is that person you have the crush on, you don't see the long list of flaws that they also have. They also experience those kinds of things about themselves. You just don't know it yet. You haven't seen it. So just try and place yourself on the same level as them. And remember that you are beautiful, and you're very much worth going out with. And then just go up to them and be like, hey, I think you're really pretty / handsome / whichever word you think best describes. Would you like to go on a date with me? Or whichever phrase bridging from that basic starting point is it works for that situation. Don't set in too hard. Don't, go crazy and walk up and be like, I love you. Never do that. That would be a true fuck up on your part, and I would not be able to make you feel better other than to say, you fucked up and now you know not to do that again. But just going up to someone saying, hey, listen, I was just thinking, I just think that you're really cute and I'd love to take you on a date. And if they say no, they say no. And you will feel that way about someone again, and perhaps they may feel the same way about you. It's funny because I think people human beings in that kind of a situation would probably say, life's too short to spend worrying. But I won't say that because I can't relate to that experience. You wonder if maybe if you do something horribly embarrassing and you carry that embarrassment with you after you try and put yourself out there. Well, at least I won't, life's too short. But it won't be for me. And so I'll have just as many years after to want to, give myself an excuse to not do it. And that sucks. I mean, living forever. Wow. How terrible. But, has its pitfalls. What do you mean meet someone important in my life? You lot are all I need. Thanks, BoJack and Kendra, and everybody else. Chun. Hopeless romantic gang, assemble! We need to stick together. The kind of people who make one of the, and I could never make a pact, Oh, if we get old and we can't find anyone else, let's get married. Well, I ain't. I'm sorry to say, I don't think that's gonna happen to me for quite some time. Phoenix Nekosaka and one red. Thank you for the Akasupa. Added bonus life lessons. Listen, I may be stupid. But you do pick up a lot of experience living a life like mine, so, you know, maybe it's not the worst advice in the world. Noob. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not very good at Minecraft, am I? Just got called a noob by someone in chat. That's... Oh my god, my life is over! It's done! All that talk of immortality, what's it worth? When someone calls you a noob at Minecraft. It's not worth it anymore. Oh dear. Oh, it's so Jova. LRiz equals bad at Minecraft. I'd like to believe that LRiz makes you better at Minecraft. I don't know. Oh. Never mind all that. Alright, well that's, oh. Huh. Fun. Go find diamonds. I already did. I got 6 of them. Thank you, Chen. No, of course it's relaxing. Nyanya. Ah, would you like to go out to dinner? Well, I am a little busy, but I'll see if I can book you in. It's really sweet. Oh. I'd like to go out to a nice restaurant again. I haven't been to one in quite some time. Well, I've been to lots of nice ones, but like, you know, really proper, I like a bit of fine dining. Gotta treat myself every once in a while. Life today is strange. Life today feels very still. And you know, I think one of the reasons why I felt sick earlier and why I'm quite subdued, I didn't get much sleep, and it's because after I finished BoJack, I couldn't sleep for a little while. And I really thought about how, like, you know, with my condition, but also when you work a lot, it's very difficult to... Did I drop my fucking shovel? Or did it break? Oh no, it's... I've put it in my... Oh, what the fuck? How did I manage that? I've never done that before in my life. What was I going to say? It's easy to really go through life without thinking about it. And I kind of had this moment where I really thought about my cumulative experiences, you know. But for me, it's even longer. There's a lot of my life I can't remember. And I think about how many different stages there are to life, and how in those different stages of life, how huge everything can feel. How scary it is for us, for something to go wrong in our present situation. without remembering that this is only one stage in what will inevitably be a very, very long life. For me, especially. And it made me want to be able to think more. But sometimes I feel like I can't think. Sometimes your head is just too busy. And I think that there are systems in place, especially for young people who are growing up today, that corporations want to fill their head with noise. And I know all social media bad is like the most tired, done to death topic, whatever. Yeah, I know. But there is some truth to that. The more information that you are fed, the more that you are shown the ideal snippets of someone else's life compared to what feels like the overwhelming pits or valleys in yours, the sadder you will become, and the more obsessed you will be with trying to replace parts of your life with something that can make you feel like someone else. And it feels difficult because this year I've been very on and off, and I've wanted very badly to, to get back to work, but I've had a lot of time just to myself, whether it be for health reasons or because I'm just not home. And even then, it's so difficult to really, really think broadly about myself and where I'm at right now, where I want to go next. And then last night I really did think about it, and I was a bit scared at first because I realized how little I thought about it, and then I was also comforted in realizing, well, I always have the chance to think about it. I don't know how important thinking about that kind of thing is. Maybe it's just to keep us sane. Maybe. When something gets like too stressful for you. And you're in a situation that feels like life or death. I mean, maybe sometimes it is, but I've been in plenty of those. But most of the time it's not. And if something goes wrong, it might go wrong. But that's the thing about living in a a world like this one, is that there's always going to be something else waiting for you on the other side. Something else to catch you. You might need to really reach out and go find it, but I don't know. I hope this existential conversation isn't bumming you out. This is just what staring at big blocks of rock for hours will do to a man. More diamonds. And we're all full up on Dick Slate. Alright, I'm out of here. Thanks, Kendra. Zesu, thank you. Once had a crush for almost 7 years. Ah. Been there. Been there. Oof. Yeah, that sucks. From primary school all the way to university. I mean, if neither of you have moved on, why not tell him now? If he's not, like, gotten married or whatever, why not tell him now? Don't be like, I have loved you for 7 years. No, don't do that. But approaching him being like, hey, I always thought you were kind of cute. Do you want to meet me for a drink? You never know. I'm willing to bet that, maybe you don't see this guy as often as you did when you were both in school together. Probably won't be too embarrassing if it falls apart, so where's the loss? There's no harm in trying. Just be honest and say, hey, think you're kind of cute. Maybe want to get out of here. Don't say it like that. Don't take advice from an embarrassing Rizless demon. You know better than me. Thanks, Kayanon. Alright, it's an untaught skill. You just got to get better at reflecting. That's why so many people enjoy meditation. I've never really tried that. My family tried to get me into meditation once. We went to this old lady's house, and she tried to teach us transcendental meditation. And it never really spoke to me too much. I never really understood it all that much. You just sit in a chair and you say a special word over and over again in your mind. I've heard it's apparently very life-changing for some people, but it didn't really do all that much for me. You can find your own version. Yeah, maybe the right thing to do is just to have a space to sit and really do nothing. I feel like my version of meditation would be like to let myself think. Because from what I understand, a lot of it is about trying to be still and to have your mind think about nothing at all for some time, which sounds very difficult. Going on walks every day for a few weeks, that really helps me slow my brain down. Oh yeah. Walks are amazing. Walks are amazing. And I feel terrible for people who maybe don't live in the best of areas, who might struggle to get out for a walk. You know, I will really tell you this. As someone who, you know, stuck inside working all the time, making time to go for a walk is amazing. I've probably mentioned this before, but when I was going to college for a little while, I had the option of getting the bus, but I never did. I think I might have done if I was running late, but if I had the choice, I would always walk. For an hour plus, I would walk. And it was amazing. You have time to think. You have time to reflect. You get a form of exercise that, unless you are, unfortunately, you know, suffering from a disability that makes walking difficult, it's something that most people can do really easily. Unlike sort of, you know, weightlifting or serious workouts, there's not really any kind of barrier for entry. I mean, it's not like there's any barrier for entry for lifting either, but, you know, it's a little harder to make that start. But, I mean, you walk, unless, of course, you know, barring the possibility of a disability, most of us walk somewhere every day, even if it's just from your bedroom to your bathroom. So just doing that more is a really easy way of finally making yourself exercise a little bit if you've been, you know, struggling to do so. I've definitely been there. But walking is great because it's like, it just helps to have somewhere to walk to. You know, and even though I've been going for my little breakfast runs, it still kind of feels arbitrary, and sometimes I get stuck with the thought of, oh, should I skip it? But if you've got a commute to do, then, you know, there's a really good reason to make that walk. Taking pictures can be nice. The thing about walking is that you can run into, like, so much unexpected stuff. What I like to do is, as long as it's safe to do so, is to go down a street I've never been down before, you know? You'll be walking, and you might see, like, a little pathway, and you think, what's down there? And then you walk, and you find, oh, this leads to here. Or like, oh, this is that way. Oh. And then you find something interesting. And that's fun. I always like running into a bit of nature when I'm on a walk. I remember something I did once. I was walking near a park, and there was a squirrel in the road. Not in the road, like on the pavement. And the squirrel was just being really chill, and it was just kind of sat like nibbling something. And I walked up and I took a selfie with a squirrel. Because I just thought it was nice, you know. The squirrels are normally skittish and they run off. But this one didn't, and he was just chill. And so I took a selfie with him. I just kind of, you know, threw up a peace sign. And I was like, yo, squirrel. And that was nice. I wonder where that squirrel is now. I'm not going to Google how long squirrels live. I'd like to believe he's still knocking around and maybe I can go hang out with him again. I mean, okay. I don't want to sound like I know all about this because I really don't. But, listen. None of us evolved to be inside all day. And I've said it so many times. I am fucking sick and tired of... Hey! Sick and tired of you. I'm fucking sick and tired of the quirky, haha, hoo, yeah, I never go outside. Like, alright, well, like, what the hell is this self-own? Like, are you just admitting that you have no control over your life? Like, what the fuck is the joke here? It's so easy to go outside. If you live in a dangerous area, this is, you know, a little difficult, but if you do, finding someone to walk with, or maybe some public transport out to somewhere where you can walk, is really easy. It's really easy. And I'd fucking Jesus Christ, get away from me. And you really wouldn't believe, like, you genuinely wouldn't believe the impact that a little bit of fresh air can have on you. And just sort of, I don't know, being like, oh, these people touch grass. What are you doing touching grass for? I don't know. Looking out for my health, perhaps? Looking after my body, perhaps? Like, yeah. I imagine you might have been tired of having a lot of hobbies that made you want to stay inside. And maybe having parents or friends who tried to drag you outside when you wanted to focus on your hobbies. I've been there. I've definitely been there. But they wanted to drag you out for a reason. If you have, like, a disability that makes it difficult to walk, first of all, I'm really sorry that, you know, that's something that life has saddled you with. But with whichever method you have of getting around, whether it's a wheelchair, whether it's crutches or a walking stick, sometimes all it takes to really improve your mental health. I sound fucking stupid. I don't want to say, but anyway, something that can have a profound effect is just sitting outside. And there are some days where all it will take for me, for instance, is instead of going all the way out, I will just sit on my balcony and I will just kind of sit for a long time and drink in the fresh air and then go back inside again. And sometimes that's all you really need to do. I'm gonna put this fucking torch away because this shit is pissing me off. I don't mean to speak down to anyone who might be struggling with something that makes it really difficult to go outside. I think all I want to say is that it's really, really nice when you finally manage to. It'll forever remind me of the, what is it? The tweet about, oh my god. People's depression gets so bad they can't brush their teeth? What the hell? And someone retorts with, people's trigger warning for suicide, but people's depression gets so bad they kill themselves, Janet. So even though I'm being a bit of a twat about it, and even though I'm saying, oh, you know, it's good to go outside, it's alright if you find that difficult. A lot of the time. Been there, you know? Oi. I fucking hate those things. I'm gonna go to bed. Because I've definitely been there quite a few times. This piece, all right. Whoever with I think it was a mob vote. Whoever fucking voted to add this piece of shit into the game, I will find you. So yeah, I know I'm going on a bit of a ramble about how, oh, you should go outside and oh, nature's so wonderful. I know what it is like to lie in bed wanting to go outside, but it feels like there's an anvil on your chest. And you just will be in bed for the rest of the day, inevitably. And you know that you're not going to get up. And that's okay. I think I might have gone through this whole process before, because I've done it. But it's all about baby steps. People are boycotting the mob vote. Good! Billion-dollar corporations should be able to give us a load of different mobs. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of work and effort to make a mob, sure. Billion-dollar corporation. Microsoft, actually, is a trillion-dollar corporation. Can you believe that? Trillion. You can make a few more mobs. But anyway, what I was going to say is, how important it is to take tiny, 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 tiny little baby steps. The smallest thing can set you on a bit of a roll to just do some things that will make you feel better. If you are so depressed you cannot get out of bed, terrible state to be in. I've been there too. What can you do? Well, accept first that you're not lazy, nor stupid, nor any of that, what people might have told you are. Just get out of bed, forehead. Just cheer up, Lamau. It's easy to say. Much easier said than done. But if let's say you spend one whole day in bed because you cannot get up. It's a bad feeling. It's a really nasty feeling. You feel like you've wasted an entire day, and inevitably, you've probably been thinking a load of really bad thoughts too. So, accept that it's not... Most human beings, if they're perfectly happy and healthy, will get out of bed when they wake up. Because you haven't been able to, you're not lazy, there's something you need to be mindful of. And that something is something that you may not be able to fix, but someone may be able to make it better. So, step one is to do something tiny. Stand up once. Just once in the day. You don't have to go anywhere. After one whole day in bed, then the next day, at any point, crawl out of bed and stand up. That's one thing that you've now done. And that for you is a huge accomplishment. And you should be proud of that. And the thing about being horribly depressed is that it's difficult to reward yourself for your accomplishments, and your brain doesn't really have much of a reward system. But you can tell yourself, I did a good thing. And then it'll seem a tiny bit easier the next day. And then the day after that, maybe you can make your way to a different room. You don't have to do anything in that room. You can just go to it. And then maybe the next day, you might be able to brush your teeth or use the bathroom. Maybe the day after that, you can drink a glass of water or get something out of the fridge. Who knows? But the point is to be patient and to remember that these things are age-old conditions that doctors are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to make easier for people because they are really, really hard. And it's okay. As long as you don't give up. Because giving up will... It seems very appealing now, but it won't be very appealing when you're facing up against it. I promise you, it won't. So, just take baby steps and you never know where you'll end up. It's funny. You shouldn't really... Don't treat my advice as gospel, okay? I've been around the block and I've got like some interesting perspective to share. Your life is your life. And you, and most likely your doctor, if you've been seeing one, knows a lot more about your perspective than I do. What I'm doing is sharing what's helped me. And hopefully, if that does help, that's good. And I feel like I've done a good thing, and that's nice. It may not work for you, because everyone is different. So, listen, but don't... Again, I mentioned that thing about putting people on a pedestal. I know I'm absolutely gorgeous, but you can't do that to me either. I don't know these things. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't have a license. Just kind of want to make you feel better sometimes. If I can do that, that's good enough for me. Well, that's good then. Minecraft, right, guys? Like a tree. Who? Alright, changing subject. You're a good Oshi. Am I really? Aw. Ain't you just the sweetest thing? Call me a good Oshi? Oh my god. Thank you. I swear, first time I was called a good Oshi, oh my cheeks went all red. Ain't you just the sweetest thing? Oh, Oklahoma. I'm just a girl who can't say no. Sunny, thanks very much. It's standing up for many days. That's my girl. Well done. Keep standing up. Keep on standing up. Black crown, that's interesting. Oh, Avis, I hope you get some good sleep. Finding, getting good sleep has been really transformative for me recently. And when I didn't get good sleep last night, I kind of had like a, whoa, you know, I was like scared. I was like, no, my sleep schedule, no, give it back. It's been so good, please. But I didn't get too much sleep today. I woke up at the same time still, so I think I'll be able to get to sleep at a reasonable hour again. The sleep schedule will be intact. No more waking up at 3 for me. I'm an early bird. And being an early bird is nice. I've always enjoyed waking up, like, dead early. I think it's just bad habits that kind of lead you to becoming a night owl. That, or, you know, obviously work sometimes does that, but for me, I think I always, you know, I have that unfortunate problem of looking at the clock and being like, oh, it's 11:30, and then, oh, fuck, it's 4. And then suddenly your sleep schedule is ruined for the next week. Mood. Yeah. Yeah. But I like it because when you go outside, when it's nice and early, you get like the dewdrops on the grass, and there's like a bit of mist sometimes, and it's like a little chilly even in the summer, and you can kind of see like all the shops are closed, but it's like light outside, and so it feels like very still and very peaceful. And then you can kind of go for breakfast when a place is just opening up, and you can be sort of, you know, really relaxed because no one's, you know, people tend to be rushing around rush hour, but just before rush hour, that's when these breakfast places tend to be nice and quiet. You're sort of sitting there, you know, get your laptop, get your phone, watch a funny YouTube video, drink a coffee. Oli Jolly Paka, thank you. Brave Bean, thank you. I'm glad you had a good time. And oh, I love this one because I love Pygmalion. I love My Fair Lady. Hold on. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Now, a real My Fair Lady accent, the real aristocrat British types, they pronounce ow as I. Can't get dine, the grind's going rind and rind. Oh, bloody hell. Can't get dine, the grind's going rind and rind. Just you wait, Henry Higgins, just you wait. The rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain. What? Oh yeah, an hour is an ah. That's one of my favorite gags from Wallace and Gromit, is in The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, when Wallace is like, oh yes, we'll be over there, and he falls, and she's like, in an hour? I can't wait an hour. Such a sweet film. I love Wallace and Gromit, they're so good. Rest in peace, Peter Sallis, what a talent. Oh, spot of Wensleydale ought to do the trick. Oh, nothing a lick of paint won't do, up, Chuck? So quintessentially British, so nostalgic for me. Thank you. And this is true. Yeah, Kumio, the only one who can save you is yourself. This is true. Because at the end of the day, I mean, many of the systems designed to help you are inefficient, let's say. And rigged, in a way, because if you have money, you'll be able to shoot straight to the front of the queue, and then you may be suffering and perhaps you can't afford to see a therapist immediately, and you just sort of have to deal with that. But the fact is, you'll always have a choice. And that's something that I really appreciated. Again, something that I really appreciated about BoJack Horseman was the fact that his bad decisions were never forced upon him. He lived a very, very tragic life and developed a lot of trauma that led him to making his bad decisions, but he always had a choice. And if you're in a terrible situation, and if you feel that you are succumbing to your vices. Maybe alcohol makes you feel better. Maybe drugs make you feel better. Maybe you have some unhealthy habit that makes you feel better. Yes, you are prone to that behavior, and it can be very difficult to break. Very difficult. Nigh impossible sometimes. But you do have a choice. Even if it feels like you don't, you do. And if you make a choice, and it turns out to be the wrong one, you'll then have another chance to make the right choice when you have the chance. Ah! Serves me right for reading chat while I'm shimmying along a cliff with a death-defying drop. I mean, it's not death-defying, I'm fine. Spider! Oi, piss off, little man. Masato Kendra, thank you very much. Meritorious. Cheese without crackers? That's like crackers without cheese. Get me out of here. I'm going home. Wee. Oh. Well, I have, that's funny. I have an alarm on my phone, and I keep forgetting to turn it off, and it plays the Minecraft soundtrack, which we have already been listening to. And now it's playing out on my phone instead. Play on this computer, please. Thank you. It's quite tragic, isn't it? Spent like more than a year building this castle, and then it's, you know, there's like a dining hall, but it's empty. Man. Same as always. I don't mean to be all doom and gloom. Just one of those days. Mostly happy. That's it, that's right. Stupid ass. Get out of my house. How do you pronounce... I pronounce it data. Data. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Data just doesn't really make sense to me. Data is how they pronounce it in... in the English dub of fucking Kingdom Hearts. Even inside Data. I've never played Kingdom Farts. I don't know what it's about. Stinky Pete? The only Stinky Pete line from Mickey I can think of is from fucking Once Upon a Christmas, when he's like, "Oh, one man delivering presents to every child on the same night? Well, it's practically impossible." And then little, I think it's Maxie. He's like, "Oh." He doesn't sound like Goofy. He sounds like a... How the fuck did Goofy have a son who's so, like... I don't know, he's emo, but he's relatively normal compared to fucking Goofy. He's like, "Hey, I'm a normal kid," and his dad is like, "What?" Boom, 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 boom. bitch. Don't you dare replace that, stupid ass. As someone who has chosen to marry the bed, very nice to hear people's perspectives on how going out can bring in positive energy. It's just one of those things, you know? I mean, yeah. The fact of the matter is, human beings... Holy, who the fuck is this? What do you got for me? The bucket of... What, wheat seeds for an emerald? You out of your damn mind on this one. Get the fuck in my hole. Oh, the llamas, they mad at me now? Quit spitting at me. What's going on with you? Yeah, get out of here. Don't attack me. Yeah. Wheat seeds for a what do you mean? This was an act of revenge. A whole emerald for one wheat seed? Well, that's daylight murder. An eye for an eye. Sue and Vio, thank you very much. Who's that? Oh. Don't do that. Oh, don't do that, you loud, scary man. Rawr. Rawr. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. I don't know why him suddenly coming around the corner genuinely scared me. What the fuck? Minecraft hasn't scared me since I booted it up for the first time and I heard a zombie noise. Where'd you go? Where'd you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Voop. Where did you come from? Where did you go? That's an interesting personality trait of mine. Whenever I think of Cotton Eye Joe, I don't think of the original Cotton Eye Joe. I think of the Cotton Eye Joe song that was in the Swiss Army Man soundtrack, where one of the characters starts humming the song to himself. He's like, it's always this song that gets stuck in your head, and then the next song from the soundtrack is just, where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Beautiful movie. Beautiful movie. It was such a beautiful soundtrack, built from the experiences of its main characters. There's two dudes, one of which is a corpse, fucking around in the forest, trying to get home, and they sing a little song. If it had to be forgotten, I drove. I've been there. And then the next part of the soundtrack is what's inevitably what he's thinking about. If it hadn't have been for Cotton Eye Joe, where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Me personally, I came from a hole in the ground.
Some say there are no dwarf women, and the dwarves just spring out of holes in the ground.
Wish I lived hundreds of years ago when everything was slow, cars, horses, and mail was slow. Well, we definitely live in a fast-paced world. That much is true. But what we also live in is a time with really good medical technology and A time with, what else have we got? A time with efficient public transportation. Didn't have that back in my day. Do you know there was a time when you just had to do your taxes on a piece of paper and hand them in an envelope? Man. You don't know how good you got it. You don't know how good you kids got it. Back in my day, we didn't have netherite. Diamond was the best you could get. And there were no enchantments either. Oh, yeah, the Lord of the Rings concert in the Royal Albert Hall. Ooh. I love the Royal Albert Hall. I love those kinds of concerts, you know, where they play, an orchestra plays the soundtrack along to the film. I had that with Harry Potter. I watched a performance of The Philosopher's Stone with an orchestra, and it was just magic. So good. So nice just sit around and appreciate something that brings you joy for a while. And to be in a room full of people all quoting along to the film and having a laugh at the jokes, and oh man, it was so heartwarming. I think every time I feel a little pessimistic, about the future, I think about what is it? When I feel pessimistic, I like to think about the capacity that that humanity really has for good in so many different ways. Pessimism can come out of all sorts of different places, and I've been feeling it recently, mostly because of fucking Elon Musk. And the fact that it's such a stupid fucking crybaby has this much power. And he always has, and now it's specifically affecting my life. Because he's ruining Twitter. Which is a little silly of a perspective to have, but whatever. Never mind. And it sort of led me to think, man, this guy who was born... I don't know, if any Elon fanboys in chat, I don't give a fuck. You think that man was self-made, came from a fucking working class family? Get the fuck out of here. That man was born with a silver spoon up his ass. He got ahead in life by just buying the work that smart people had already done. And that makes me feel pessimistic, because why should someone like that have all that power? You'd think if someone a little smarter, a little less insecure had that much power, maybe things would be a lot better. But that's the way they are. But then sometimes there'll be a little nice thing that happens, and it kind of just makes me think, oh, what the fuck? It's not all bad. The thing that made me really happy was seeing how many people turned out in force, in costume, to go and see Barbie and Oppenheimer together. This was not a marketing stunt. Neither film played into the hype for each other. Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie got tickets to see Oppenheimer and posted a selfie of that. Which was fun, but that's about it, really. And then, otherwise, this phenomenon just became a thing, and, you know me as a film fan, feeling pessimistic about cinema is not exclusive to me. We have interviews now with Martin Scorsese talking about how he feels crushed in his old age because he can see what cinema is becoming and he feels helpless to stop it. He feels that he'll become too old. Even him, still in his 80s, creating films like Killers of the Flower Moon, which from what I've heard is apparently somehow one of his best. A career spanning how many decades? All must have been Martin Scorsese, how long? He is 80. He is active 1962. So yeah, 51 years. 51 years. And still creating films in his prime. Him saying he worries for the future of cinema. And I feel the same thing. The news from the writer's strike is very good. Protections against AI are very good news. But it's still depressing to think about how the interests of those who have the power to get movies made don't align with those who want to put their vision and make it into a film. But then I think that seeing all those people dressed in pink, or wearing those suits with those hats, turning out in huge numbers to see a feminist comedy and a 3-hour, partially black and white biopic, that was really heartwarming for me. And I think that the average moviegoer and the average person has the capacity to enjoy media well outside of their current media diet. And I think that we've simply created an environment in the industry that makes risk-taking so not encouraged. Hopefully, in years to come, more studios will be willing to take risks. We can have some really, really great products, thankfully, or hopefully, that lots and lots of people get to see. Sometimes I think that, like, movies that go for Oscars can kind of forget about the average person's experience watching it. Sometimes they can feel quite aloof and distant. And I think that's mostly what I was talking about when I was talking about how films are usually made from the perspective of privilege, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I should trail off there. I don't know. That's funny. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. There's a little bit of everything. And I think that if audiences are more willing to try new things, and filmmakers are more willing to, well, I wouldn't want any filmmaker to sacrifice their vision, but I think sometimes there can be, you know, a more artistic film, so-called, that is inaccessible for the sake of it. And I tend to enjoy those films, but I'd like it if they didn't represent so much of the average person's view of art film. To me, an art film is just a film that is unique. You know, not really. A film that... Really, an art film is quite a reductive term because they're all so different from each other. Really, it's just sort of... An art film is just really a term that we prescribe to something that is unlike something we might see as the norm. And there's a lot you can learn from that kind of thing. And a lot of art films are very fun and easily accessible. A lot of them are very hilarious. A lot of them have great action sequences. A lot of them are perfectly simple and easy to understand. I don't know. I just hope that with such a positive response to the whole Barbie and Oppenheimer phenomenon, perhaps we can see more sort of patience and willingness to see some more, you know, the kind of things that you wouldn't normally see. Expand your media diet. See things that are new and really give them a go. And you never know what you might love. The people going around saying all movies are bad now, you're not seeing very many films. There are far more films out there than you think there are. All movies are bad now, and yet, you know, you'll consume the latest, most popular releases, and that's it? No. There are thousands of films that come out from all over the world each year. And many of them are really, really good. But then I can't really blame many people because so much of the time they are really difficult to seek out. So much of the time they might get a limited release, or they might be completely unavailable in your country. And that's also a shame. Now, I can't wait for the FNAF movie either. That's real cinema. What? You met Quentin? As in Tarantino? Holy shit. I love Quentin. I think he's so funny. I think he's so hilarious. I love his vibe. I just love the way he talks. I think he's so funny. Did you guys see that clip of him getting approached by paparazzi outside a coffee shop? And he's like, what's going on here? No, what is going on here? Get that camera out of my face. Yeah, get that camera out of my face. And they're like, oh, you wouldn't. It's like, oh, you wouldn't. You're not going to attack us because we have a camera. It's like, yeah, no, because if I did, I'd be whooping your ass up and down the street, all right? And then he just turns around and walks away. Or the fantastic interview with that Channel 4 guy who was desperately trying to get Quentin to say something incriminating about the violence in his films. And he was like, no, I refuse your question. I'm shutting your butt down. And fantastic. I've definitely mentioned this before, but the Jimmy Kimmel, I mean, you know, we all know my opinions on Jimmy Kimmel, but sure he's a nice man, but he needs to... he has some better material for the Oscars. But when he was on an interview there, and Jimmy had like all of these very obscure like 80s VHS tapes, and he would start reading the blurb without showing him the cover for the tape. And Quentin was able to guess like out of no. There was one which was like a movie about a rabid dog or something, and he read it out and he said, that's this one. And he said, no, it's this one. He said, no, I know this. This movie had a name change in a different territory. I am correct. And then they Google it, and he was correct. He knows so much, and that's passion, and that's really cool, you know. And I'm glad. And I like that he's a good sport about his weird thing with feet. When Brad Pitt did his fucking acceptance speech, and he was like, "I'd like to thank Quentin. I'd like to thank." Margot Robbie's feet, Margot Qualley's feet, Dakota Fanning's feet. Goddamn, Quentin has separated more women from their shoes than the TSA. That's some brilliant shit. Show-stopping. Ooh! Don't you be doing that. Don't you be doing that, Minecraft. Don't you hit me like that. You didn't like the direction they went. Well, I mean... I never watched The Witcher, but it's a shame to me that, I guess, you know, my perspective is obviously limited because I haven't seen it, but Henry Cavill being so passionate about the character of Geralt, and hearing that apparently the showrunners thought he was, quote, really annoying for being so thorough in his preparation to play the character, that's really depressing. I'd like to imagine that when hundreds of millions of dollars go into creating an adaptation of someone's work, you would like to think that you would do your best to work in a collaborative sense with everyone on the project and to make sure that what emerges is the best version of it. And I definitely understand the need to change things in an adaptation. Oh, don't get me wrong. I personally think that Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is far and away one of, if not the most iconic and influential horror movies ever made. And I think the original Stephen King Shining book is kind of meh. The adaptation that was made that's more, the miniseries that's closer to the Stephen King book, I don't know. It's alright. It's not great. Sometimes radically changing something for an adaptation is a good thing. But these intentions need to be clear, and you need to get better at working with these people, you know? And then Henry Cavill just leaves the series, and they try to replace him with fucking Liam Hemsworth. I don't know why you would accept a job like that, replacing a very beloved actor in a beloved role. I feel like you're just setting yourself up to fail at that point, because the expectations are going to be, I want to see exactly what I got from the other person when the other person left due to creative differences. Those creative differences no longer in place means the show is going to change away from what those people want. You're just setting yourself up for disappointment, and it's quite sad, really. Imagine being the other... I mean, Liam Hemsworth is pretty famous already, but imagine being the other Hemsworth. Jesus. Muerco. Am I okay with haunted houses? I feel like I'd enjoy a haunted house. It depends on the intensity. It depends on the intensity. If it's like a goofy, spooky ghosts, like ghouls, and you're in for a scare, I feel like I'd be fine with a haunted house. But I've seen some that seem to be like very grim, realistic representations of like people running around and trying to kill you with chainsaws. I don't know about that. I get a little sensitive around death sometimes. Feeling like there's, you know, danger afoot kind of freaks me out a bit. Oh god, yeah, I forgot there was a third Hemsworth. Yeah, also, do you know that Will Smith has a third child called Trey Smith who is older than Jaden? No, you didn't, did you? What do you think about gory films? They're fine. I've never actually seen any of the Saw movies, but I want to watch Saw 1 because I've heard it's a very good film for what it was able to do on its low budget. Yes, Will Smith has a third child, other than Jaden and Willow. He has an older third child called Trey Smith. I think it may have been his choice not to sort of share the limelight with his family, but I do not know. I'm unfamiliar. I might even be lying. I might have just seen a random Facebook post like 12 years ago and been like, oh, I've now absorbed this and treated it as fact. And we got it. Nice. Bum, bum, bum. This has been a nice stream. When you read a story, do you imagine a voice when you read? Is it your own or a different voice? I do always imagine a voice when I read, but it's rarely my own voice. Most of the time, if I read, I will hear a voice. Usually it is in a British accent, but it tends not to be my own voice. A lot of the time, it tends to just be a random person's voice that I have heard recently, you know? Like, I remember while I was still watching BoJack, I remember I watched one of the Princess Carolyn-centric episodes, and then everything I read for the rest of the day was just read in Princess Carolyn's voice. You know? That happens more often with my internal monologue, you know? Like, when I'm thinking to myself about things, I will hear it in a random voice, and the voice of someone who I have been speaking to, or who I've seen on TV, or in a game, or in a movie, or something like that. You think in my voice? That's sweet. Hey, you're welcome. I've watched a show called Grimm. I have not. Is it about the fairy tales? Yeah. Southern accents. I can see what you might mean about that. Well, I dare say you and I might be about to go to, just take a peek at the at the man over yonder. You don't see him? It's because he's dead. Yippee-ki-yay. Oh god, people waking up from anesthesia are really funny. My favorite video, I've said this before, my favorite video of all of that is the dog who went to the vet and they put him under some anesthesia. And he's just this golden retriever and he stood just in the middle of the kitchen going and the owner is like, he's just got back, he needs a bit of time, he's still wobbling. And he's really, really, really high. This is how you know that a golden retriever is high. And he takes a ball and he throws it in the kitchen. And the dog just slowly cranes his neck and watches as the ball just rolls away from him. And he stares at it like... And he slowly turns back. It's like, oh, there's a ball. Wow. Oh my god. There's a ball. Wow, there's a ball. Hearing your inner voice is David Attenborough. That's fun. I've done that a few times. Billy Mays here. Have you ever watched Stranger Things? I have. I've seen seasons 1 through 3. I thought season 1 was fucking great, and I really enjoyed it. And then I thought seasons 2 and 3 were a bit... I haven't seen season 4. Is there a season 5 now? I don't know. Seasons 2 and 3, I felt like they got a bit much, you know? They went quite, you know, off the rails when I think the charm of Stranger Things season 1 was the simplicity and sort of the coziness of going on an adventure with characters you enjoyed. I do need to watch Moon Knight. I'm very curious about Moon Knight because I have a really shallow opinion of the MCU, as you know. But I loved WandaVision. Well, most of WandaVision. A lot of the trying to connect it to other parts of the MCU is what I didn't enjoy, but the solo WandaVision stuff I really enjoyed. And I love Oscar Isaac as well. And so I am curious about Moon Knight. Loki's fine. I remember I enjoyed the first few episodes, but then again, it... Oh, God, it was loud. But then again, at the end, you know, I just felt like it was a bit much. A lot of, like, insisting upon itself emotionally, and it just sort of felt a bit like, nah, I don't really care, you know. Loki was fine. Don't like how they used AI to make the poster for the second season. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. Company as fortuitous as Disney can't pay a graphic designer to draw a fucking clock. You need to bibbity boop a prompt into fucking Piss Journey. Lazy shit. How much would it cost you to put food on the fucking table of a graphic designer instead of paying $900,000 a year to someone so that they can type fucking words into a computer, you piece of shit. Jesus. I am upset. I am upset because people are kind of shit sometimes, and it sucks, and I'm mad about it. How easy would it be? I know a bunch of people, really talented people, who I could commission right now to design a poster that would not incur any controversy. Design me a clock background for this render of fucking Tom Hiddleston's head. And then I could say, we're running on a tight budget, tight deadline. Here, you have a week to finish it. Here is a rush fee. Good luck. And then when they finish it, you could even be nice enough to give them a tip. I like doing that. It's fun, and it feels good. You could do that. You could support a freelance artist, you could put food on their table, and you could have a poster that doesn't cause a fucking hullabaloo. Where's the thinking here? Also, complaining about your projected losses while refusing to continue working. Refusing to end the strike and complaining about your projected losses, when the projected losses because of the strike you have the power to end at any time has already lost you more money than all of the guild's demands put together. Are they stupid? Why did Fat Man hit his head? Is he stupid? Anyway, I've been having a really nice stream, and I've been so relaxed. I don't want to let fucking Bob Iger ruin my day. He doesn't know I exist. Maybe he does. Bob Iger, if you're listening, I'm in your house. I'm just saying, I'm in your house. You don't know where I am. I'm in your house, and I have a sword. So you know. Pay people fairly. And stop using AI to make posters, please. Thank you. Thank you. Think fast, stabs you. Murder on the Orient Express. That's a fun one. That's a fun one because, director, writer, actor Kenneth Branagh, one inspiration. The way that he made Belfast, right? Like the very personal, autobiographical, original artistic work. And it seemed like that wasn't even what he wanted to do. He didn't care about his own very personal work. He just wanted to keep making adaptations of Agatha Christie where he got to wear a silly moustache. And to be honest, more power to him. Those are his passion projects. Taika Waititi's One for Me, One for Them. The One for Them was his supposed passion project. The One for Me, that's the studio big budget movie where he gets to wear a funny moustache and solve mysteries. And more power to him. I think that's really funny. I would love to be at a point in my life where I was so rich and so famous that I could just be in as many movies as I want about being a detective with a silly moustache who solves crimes. I love Kenneth Branagh too. He's heartwarming. Whenever I see him in a film, I'm like, oh, there he is. That's my favorite white boy. I kid. My favorite white boy is Ike Evelyn, but you know, Kenneth Branagh is up there. I have many favorite white boys. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Issy and Connie as well. So glad you're my Yoshi. I'm glad I'm your Yoshi. Makes me happy. Thank you. Oh, Foxy, I wanted to thank you briefly for the world-building advice you gave me. The process is slow. Habits are hard to break. Making progress. Oh, that's brilliant. That's really brilliant because that is going to stick with you. Everything that you learn, even if you don't follow it 100% of the time, it will stick in one way or another. You know? Everything you learn, if it's on something that you're passionate about, next, you will learn something new, and then something else, and it will keep going, and going, and going, and going. And then you'll be a master. And then you'll be a master. And that's going to be pretty great. feel like I've kind of cheated at the whole mastering things aspect, because they say 10,000 hours of applied practice will make you a master of something. But I have a lot more hours to spend on things than other people, so I feel like I haven't really earned it, you know? I never really, well, it's not like I spent time practicing how to use a sword. I was pretty good with it when I got it. Sort of came to me naturally. And how are you not going to be good at it after using it that many times for that long, right? Right, at least my 10,000 hours. And then some. I don't really count things in hours. It gets lost after a while. Friend is being haunted by Owen Wilson. What do you... Wow. Are you just bullying them, just walking around going, wow. Mafia, I'm glad you're happy. Alicia. Oh. Listen to the phone call voice. Glad you like that. Love you too. Happy I get to be there for you in some days. Whatever helps you get through it, you know? And I'm all out. Soft stream. Yeah, it's been good, hasn't it? Well, I think I might go ahead and leave it there for today. I still have lots of other stuff to get on with, and I think we might be getting to a point where those who have to go to work are well on their way to work, and those who should be in bed probably should have been off to sleep a little while ago. So, thanks for joining me today. I know it can be weird to hear me not being quite as high energy as I usually am. But today was nice. I'm very excited for the future. The rest of this week is going to be fun. And then moving into the next few weeks, well, I'll just have to wait and see. I really appreciate getting to spend a little bit of time with you, and I am excited to see what comes next. So tomorrow, I believe we have a members stream, which was a tweet I saw, just playing balloons and chatting about stuff, which sounds good to me. So I will see the members tomorrow. Then we have Princess Mononoke on Friday. And then the debut line tier list on Sunday, which ought to be good as well. Miaobing, Murasaki, Doraru's World, and April, thank you very much. Thank you for all the gifted members. Kathy, thank you. Tokito, thank you very much. Rachel. Your support is very important to me, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you. Okay. that's all from me for today. I will see you tomorrow, if you remember. And in which case, hey, never been a better time. If you like the monkey game and you like hearing my voice, well, tomorrow you'll get to hear a lot more of it, okay? Mars, thanks for the super. Glad you felt this was needed. So did I. Youngji, thanks very much. Okay. See you tomorrow. And remember what we talked about today, okay? Baby steps. And things are rarely as bad as they seem. Okay? Evan Lin, thank you. And Tian Yana, thank you. And for the gifted members as well. Alright. See you tomorrow.